Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Kara ASMR. I cannot believe it is already 2020. Oh my god. It feels like yesterday I was like sitting at home, watching Disney Channel, eating some popcorn, living my best life at 10 years old. But now I'm 20, and it's a new decade. Whoa. So I thought, what better way to kick off the new year than to set some goals. Now, I don't mean your boring old New Year's resolutions, because we all know none of us stick to those. What I mean by goals is some reading goals. Now, for me personally, my reading goals usually just consist of the Goodreads reading challenge, where I pick a certain amount of books, try to reach that challenge, and that's it. This year, though, I decided to set myself 7 different goals that I was going to hold myself accountable to throughout the year. So I thought today, to kick off the year real quick, we would go through these goals. Maybe it would give you some inspiration to make some goals of your own, and we can just hold each other accountable, because that's the way we do on this channel. We love and support each other. So without further ado, let's get on into these goals. The first goal I set for myself is to buy less books. Now, I can't just set a goal and expect it to be a SMART goal without having a numerical value to it, right? So I decided that if I can buy 40 or less books throughout the year, then I've met my goal. Now I know you're probably thinking 40 books is a lot. Clearly not for me. I think last year I bought well up to 90 books. In my defense though, most of these were at garage sales and charities, shops, and Goodwills where they were like 10 cents up to $1. So I never paid too much for books. I only bought 4 or 5 that were full price for pre-orders. This way it'll keep my shelves at a manageable number, and I won't be having books stacking like this. Though I kind of like these stacks, I'm not gonna lie. My next goal is to lower my TBR by 20%. Now when I say 20%, I mean to calculate in the number of books I have in my TBR and lower that by 20%. So my TBR is currently, are you ready? I've never admitted it fully. Drum roll. My TBR is 184 books. I'm so ashamed. I've just accumulated books over the years and just never got around to them, mostly because I use the library, or I'll read Kindle books, or listen to audiobooks. I just never get around to the books that I actually own, and I should. Because I'm not really a person who buys books that are more mainstream that the library would have. Most of the books I own, not counting these, are ones that the library doesn't really own. Like, you couldn't walk into a library and find half of these Desire books, or Why Me, Don't Cry for Yesterday. Like, you couldn't find half of these in my library. So that's why my TBR is a little bigger. Okay, a lot bigger. But to lower it by 20%, I'd have to read 36 point something books, but we're gonna round that out to 37 books. So if I can read 37 books off of these shelves, I can lower my TBR by 20%. And that's 20% from the original number, so if I do accumulate more, of course, I've allowed myself 40 books this year, then it's okay. As long as I know from the original number, I've lowered it 20%. My next goal is back to the basics of Goodreads, and it's to read 52 books in this year. Now, I will admit, a lot of times my Goodreads challenges are inflated by graphic novels. That's why this year I want to make sure at least 75% of my reading challenge is met with novels. That means out of 52 of those books, 39 of them have to be full-length novels. This is just so that I can read more books, and it also goes back to getting more books off my TBR and lowering my shelves. There's nothing wrong with reading graphic novels and comics and counting those as books. I think they're books. My next goal is to read 3 books outside of my comfort zone. So if you're not new to my channel, then you know I have a kind of niche that I stay in with my reading, and I want to kind of expand from that. So I've picked 3 genres that I want to read a book from each this year. I have science fiction, historical fiction, and nonfiction. For nonfiction, I want to make sure that it's not a memoir, because I do love memoirs. I want to make sure that it's a biography about an event or a person or something that's not a memoirish style. My next goal is to read at least 1 classic that I haven't read yet. I do love to read classics, but most of the time they're classics that I've already read back in high school or with groups or with people that I've studied them with, and they're not ones that I've kind of experienced for the first time on my own without people guiding me. So that's why this year I want to be able to experience at least 1 all on my own with the new and just nothing else holding me back and fresh eyes. There's nothing to explain it. My next goal is to not start any new series until I finished all my opened ones. So I have a lot of series that I've read that I've started and haven't finished. And I usually have no problem with reading books multiple at a time or multiple series. I do it with TV shows too, but sometimes it can get a little bit confusing. So what I've made this easier for myself is that the series can be split when they're allowed to be. For example, Pretty Little Liars is split into different arcs. So the first 4 are an arc, and the next 4 are an arc. So if I can finish an arc, then that counts as a series for me. Same with Mortal Instruments. If I can finish the first 3, that counts as a series. And then the Infernal Devices, and then back to the Mortal Instruments. This way I don't have to bog down and read like 8 books in a row. And this way I don't have like 10 different series started and none of them finished. And my last goal for this year is to keep a reading journal. I've seen so many booktubers and so many people on Pinterest keeping these little bullet journals with booktube statistics and analytics and things in them, and I really want to do that with my reading. I think it would be a really great way to keep myself accountable with my goals, and it would be a really fun way to read more and to get myself out of slumps when I get into them, and it would just be fun overall. So those are my goals for this year. Hopefully you got some ideas of your own if you want to start your own goals. I have a really good feeling this year is going to be the best year yet. It's the start of a new decade and we can make it ours. So until next time, remember you're beautiful, you're wonderful, and you are loved. Bye.